Welcome back to The Hill special election coverage. I am Robby Soave, host of Rising, and it is election night, and we are still waiting for a lot of results, obviously. We've seen some early news from Georgia, North Carolina, a couple other places, but there's still a lot of votes to be counted. One thing I noticed so far was Stephanie Cutter, advisor to the Harris campaign, had an interesting turn of phrase when discussing what's going on with the Harris campaign. Let's play that. Okay, we don't have that actually, but what she said was
live TV.
We were going to install Kamala Harris as the president rather than vote for her. I thought that was an interesting choice of words.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice of words, but it also shows the confidence. I'm a little uneasy about it, even though my predictions are that she will have a landslide.
Were very confident. If we want to return to those from this morning, you said that you thought Kamala Harris was going to win Texas and Florida
by slight margins. We're right now. I'm looking right now. Right now, we are still. It's 54-45 in Florida, and we don't have all of our votes in. Some major cities haven't come in yet. I mean, that's what you wait for, is these major cities take longer to pull up their votes. Orlando has a large Puerto Rican population. We'll see if the Boricuas turn out for Kamala Harris in response to Donald Trump. Listen, it's still tight. I said Texas and Florida could be Democratic.
I will repeat the promise I made to you this morning, where if those two states go for Kamala Harris, I will wear a White Dudes for Harris t-shirt on Rising the next day. That's my promise.
I'll have it signed by the White Dudes for Harris.
Wonderful.
The guy's organizing.
Can't wait for that.
One other thing I'm looking at, and I think there's been some conversation about Charlie Kirk, who is based in Arizona and Phoenix, where I started off organizing myself, and his organization has been outsourced to do voter turnout, and he said turnout's down, we need some folks to turn out.
Yes, he said he was bringing some of that doom and gloom the Democrats are always bringing to their side. We're so far behind. We need you to send money. We need you to register. We need you to sign up everybody who lives in your neighborhood. The end is nigh. Whereas Republicans have so far liked to lean into, we're winning, everything's great, which is just the strategy they've employed. But I also saw that statement from Charlie Kirk encouraging people to get out there. We also had who was it on the one of the Trump advisor people saying, I'm forgetting what his name was, one of the Bannon acolyte people saying, men, go out and vote, just men. Just go out and vote. We don't want any of you lady voters. I don't know what you're going to do in the poll. Not even what your husband tells you to do, probably.
They've been watching those ads. Julia Roberts got to them.
Yes,
that was it. And of course, Elon Musk was also working on organizing with his America PAC.
Yes.
It's a strategy. I'm actually curious why they went that way. Do you think it has something to do with RNC? There might be some differential opinions. I mean, there has some strategic differences saying, Donald Trump, you need to expand beyond the white male vote and start talking to other groups.
Well, it was Elon Musk who actually told Trump this time around, this whole ignore mail-in ballots, ignore that kind of thing strategy, tell your people not to vote except to vote in person. Stop doing that, it's bad. There was reporting, I think from the New York Times, a couple of weeks as Elon started becoming more involved with the Trump campaign and then has now become the facilitator of the get out to vote drive, the ground game, told Trump, you can't just do that. You have to get ahead on the mail-in voting and the other things as well. And so if Trump does win, Elon will have changed the shape of elections dramatically. Having one very wealthy and powerful financier do it for you, and then also Elon might be taking some kind of role in the administration if he...
I'm skeptical of that. I think he has too many other projects. And there's the Hatch Act. He can't be involved in too many things, especially when it comes to his NASA program.
Well, as I've said before, I want him involved in NASA more than I want him wasting his time in the White House or even running a social media app. He's going to get us to I want a Mars colony, Elon. That's what the voters really
I do too,
care about.
He can go live there.
Yeah, but we'll see if. But other people who have jumped onto the Trump campaign in recent weeks, Tulsi Gabbard, RFK Jr. Ron Paul got some attention today from Elon Musk and Donald Trump people. So that that could be that's an interesting assortment of not traditional Republican voices at all. Obviously, Tulsi Gabbard coming from the far left of the Democratic Party, RFK Jr. Democratic Party, then independent. Ron Paul combative with the Republican Party for decades, calling them big spenders and neoconservative warmongers, all those things. Meanwhile, the Democratic coalition now includes the Cheney family.
Yes, and Bernie Sanders, who just won his re-election for U.S. Senate. So let's give him a shout out.
Yeah.
One more term, I guess. I don't know how many more terms. I think what's interesting to me about Elon Musk is he seems to be the only person who Donald Trump listens to. It's like billionaire to billionaire. He he loves Twitter or X just like Donald Trump does. So maybe that's the secret, is what he has been saying has not been anything that Republicans haven't said. And in Arizona, speaking of Charlie Kirk, they have a long tradition of mail-in voting and early voting. It is not something that came about after COVID. It was something that occurred before. And so he was saying, plenty of Republicans were saying, don't criticize this. You might need it. And it helped him in 2020, I think, as well. So maybe he's the whisperer.
I mean, I
don't like what he's whispering.
The voices that Trump has leaned on this time, Elon Musk, Bill Ackman, Tulsi Gabbard, RFK Jr., a bunch of other people, and kept at bay or had more marginal folks like Steve Bannon,
well, he was
Marjorie
in jail,
Taylor
to be
Greene,
fair.
etc.
He just got out.
I think it's,
a little hard to send him a message through the phone line that cuts out 30 seconds.
I think, dare I say it, the Trump campaign has demonstrated some discipline in bringing in interesting and provocative and contrarian, certainly, people, but who appeal more to independent podcast crowd, maybe a male crowd, whatever it is. But Trump has to find new voters somewhere,
right.
And that's what they tried to do with this strategy. It might not work, but in some ways I think this is a better run campaign than either of his other campaigns.
I don't know about better run. I guess we'll see. I do think he had an issue in that his coalition was shrinking drastically and he needed to find new voters, and he was already appealing to some of them, and of course we saw the shift over the last year. Now, Kamala Harris, on the other hand, I'm curious how her message, if she were to win, which I hope she will, and I think she will, how her message will
with Florida and Texas, she's guaranteed the top prize.
All right, Texas right now.
She's running an effective campaign. Look, there's no way around it. She was thrust into this position, installed. I would certainly use that word for the how she got the Democratic nominee argument, and she has not made any major mistakes. I think she's been maybe too cautious at some turns, but she successfully renounced her unpopular political positions without sending to not super plugged in people the sign that she had flip-flopped, and that has made the race, I think, what it is, a 50-50 dead even split. And we're going to start finding out, not right now, but in the next couple hours tonight, we're going to find out who is actually going to prevail. Right now, it's just all the people on social media saying, yeah, there's so much enthusiasm, or I talked to 8 Kamala people, or I talked to 10 Trump people, and it's, you don't know, because it's just anecdotal.
Frank Luntz said, about 5 minutes ago, what we said in our studio when we interviewed one of our colleagues, Federico de Jesus, like a month and a half ago, that it was going to come down to the Puerto Rican vote, and that was before the speech at Madison Square Garden. I think it's also women. Obviously, we're seeing the dynamics there. So I'm just curious what the margins are going to be if Donald Trump is going to peel off any women in that final stretch that he wasn't already going to get, and just how large that Puerto Rican, Boricua vote and Latino vote altogether is going to be. And if it's
one thing to mention before we go, so the Republicans have had an official Senate pickup in Jim Justice. That means Baby Dog heading to the Senate building. Baby Dog, a very famous figure at the Republican National Convention. This adorable little bulldog that Jim Justice takes everywhere, who is great, and I think probably Baby Dog should just do the voting.
He should probably, exactly.
He or she, I should not misgender this dog. It's a
Baby
female
dog,
yes.
I
think, yes.
Well.
So that was some exciting news. We'll kick it back now to the Hill's live election coverage, America Votes. Stay tuned for more.